What up? So today we're going to be talking about a few different things. One of them being is if you play baseball, it's not a real sport. Football's not a real sport. Basketball's fucking boring. So what we're going to talk about is a very interesting 300 blackout optic. Just a very interesting optic in general because I just picked this up. I believe that it's awesome because it fucking is. If you've never seen any of my videos, I love 300 blackout. It's one of my favorite calibers. But first, let's talk about this. Self-sponsorship shit because it's how I get paid. House Party Distro. We make t-shirts. If you're a band, in-house merchandise. Superior Defense, nothing ever in stock. Grave Solutions, Annex Defense, Forward Observations Group, Dirty Kid. Who else do I care about? Infinite Armory, the best place to sell your shit to other people who want your shit. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, we're going to be talking about an optic. It's going to be really boring, so be prepared. Oh, hello.
Hello, darling. Nice to see you. It's been a long time. You're just as lovely.
So this gun, current setup right now, is going to be a Spear LT 300 blackout. And the way that I actually set my gun up, this is typically how I would hunt, right? So traditionally, and I might need to add something to it, but out front, we're going to be having the Silencio Scythe tie with an anchor brake on it. Depending on what I'm hunting, where I'm hunting, for instance, if I'm shooting off of a boat or a fan boat or something moving, I will switch to an STM and run it in the short configuration. If not everyone is running 300 blackout, I might run something shorter, smaller, like an Omega 9K. That's just me. So up front, we have the Voodoo S. This is going to be on the Unity flip to side, which is on a Unity riser, because, and you'll find out, you might argue about it, but again, it's personal preference.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
The optic we are talking about today is the Wilcox Boss XE. Now, this is, I think, technically a second generation because I didn't own a first gen. So this one, actually, this is the second generation because it has a different setups in it. I'm running a Unity riser, a Unity flip to center 4x on this, and then the Spear LT, like I said, 300 blackout. I do have the Squid Siphon on here. I do make these, so if you need a magwell for your SIG, MCX, or Spear or whatever, they fit on all of those. And I have some in tan, I believe. Stock trigger, because it doesn't bother me, and I am running, obviously, a little flip-to-side jammer, because pistol braces are fucking corny, and I hate them, and I hope people get upset about it, and I don't care. So if you look at this setup, you can kind of see it, maybe. I don't know. Graves might have to get closer for some fucking reason. So he gets further. So the cool thing about this fucking laser, and why guys who shoot 300 blackout will really appreciate this, is on the front of it, it has a couple different pieces of glass, right? Front of the optic. The XE designates that this also has a laser in it. Now, on the top of this, you can see that it has this throw lever, and it is marked 1 and 2, very visibly on purpose. Position 1 is 1, 0. Position 2 is another 0. Then you have your brightness for your dot inside the optic itself, and then this button right here actually fires the laser. So you have a full power laser, you have an illuminator in here, which is pretty much designed to be on short guns, as you can see. So the illuminator is pretty much going to be useless on here because if I remember correctly what I read in the book is that it's just a wide splash. So if you need a tighter illuminator, you would run something like a Vampire or whatever light setup that you want. So what you do is, say for me, how I am actually set up is my position 1 is zeroed for subsonic. My position 2 is set for supersonic. So in a hunting situation, say hogs, right? I'm going to shoot primarily 110 grain barns. I know that. I'll be in position 2. I will keep a spare mag of 220s or 190s or whatever other stuff that I'm going to be hunting with, and I will put it on position 1 when I go dry or whatever the situation is. Oh shit, we know we're going into a position or a situation that I need to shoot subsonic. I will switch to my subsonic position 1 or position 2, however you set it up. And assuming that's how you run this optic with 300 blackout, other people who I know that use these professionally, they use them with 9mm as well on subguns. So you could technically do like a 115 9mm or a 147 or a 124 and a 147. You could do it for multiple fucking things, but this is designed for pretty much for 300 blackout with, you know, subs and supers. The cool thing about this optic, and I will say this about Wilcox, it's interesting that they chose to do this. This one has a green laser, which is a little bit better for me. If I am shooting certain places, I could pick it up faster for the Viz. But the one thing that Wilcox did do, which I find really funny, which is like an NC Star thing, is that you have the ability to change the reticle. So you can have a dot, a like partial, it'll have a dot and like partial donut, yes, and then a full donut with a dot in the center. The other thing that Wilcox is really known for in their laser world is this fucking switch. This switch is big, it's bulky, it's hardwired, so you do have the ability to change it on this, but there's no QD, so you're not gonna have that issue. But this thing is fucking huge, and I really do wish they would make this smaller, but you do have the ability to program this laser with this, the laser and the illuminator, better yet, with this fucking switch. All in all, it's big, it's bulky, it's on a riser. This gun weighs, I think, 8.5, 9 pounds, because I do have a Taycan on here. Plus the thermal will add a little bit of weight. But this optic is pretty rad. So we need to go shoot it, and I can show you how it gets zeroed, because I do have ammo for this. So we go, words. We're going to go zero, goddamn. We're going to go zero it, like if I can figure out how to talk. What we are going to do right now is we are going to demonstrate the capabilitas. Shout out to Carnicon, we miss you, buddy. Of The Boss by Wilcox. What I will do is I will show how it works between both positions. I'll talk a little bit more about that because, you know, it's dork shit. You need to talk more about that. So I'll shoot because this, I forget what this is zeroed at. I think it's 20 yards or 25 yards. We'll check. So I'll get a couple rounds on here, and then I'll go and I'll do the holds. And then what we'll actually do is I'm actually going to talk about some technical shit, and I'm going to fuck it up. So be prepared. And if you know more than I do, tell me you know more than I do, and I will disregard that. First things first, 220 grain Gorilla, whatever ass, 300 blackout. And always use a preferred magazine for subs because you'll have issues if you don't. So what we're going to do is we're set up at 25 meters. I believe this is 0 to 25 meters. This is the last time I shot it. But if not, then I'll show you how easy it is to actually zero this thing and why it's worth the fucking money. Why does my laser not work? Okay. So my position 1, you can see on the top of this, right? Position 2. After we were so rudely interrupted. My position 1 is for subs. My position 2 is for supers. So I'm sure I can actually adjust this. So what we'll do is I'll get a group down on the target, and then I'll switch it to position 2 so you can see what it does. I'm going to use my magnifier like a cheater.
Should probably answer that.
All right, we're done. We're finally ready. All right, position 1, subs. Same ammo. 5 rounds. Because apparently 5-round groups are all that matter if you post on the hide. Position 2. All right, let's take a look at it. Now, there's some other interesting facts about this optic that were presented to me when I started reading the book, and I called the buddy, and he was like, dude, by the way, you could do this. So like I mentioned, it's kind of very NC Star-ish that you have the ability to change the fucking reticle. I think it's actually kind of neat. This one does have a green visible laser, which I do like. And go ahead and judge me, and I don't know if it's an ammo situation, but so this is going to be the first couple of rounds. Yes, I pulled that one, and the target's moving. So this is the subsonic 220. This is also subsonic 220, right? So it was me, not the ammo, because this one's stacked. I'm blaming it on the target moving. That's what I'm doing. Position 1, 0 for subsonics. Switch it to position 2, which is for supersonics. And you can see the drop right here. That's the difference between the zeros with whatever ammo you're shooting. And obviously when you're switching brands and projectile weights, you have all these other things that are going on. So one of the cool things about this optic setup is not only can you change the reticle if you really need to, it has built-in IR sights in it, which are lower thirds, which doesn't matter because I have it on a riser. But when you go to zero the laser, if you ever zeroed a laser, you know how annoying it is. And then you zero your optic and then your laser, so on and so forth. And we're not going to talk about parallel or any of those other types of zeros for lasers. But say I need to zero my laser, or I'm in a quick thing and I need to be able to know that I can hit, a fucking B5 at 25 meters. All I have is 5 rounds and glint tape. When you zero a laser, you put glint tape on your target at the known distance. You just zero it to the glint tape once it hits it, right? So in this situation, you zero the laser, it's slaved.
And your character is that of the valet.
What that is?
It's slaved to the reticle. So if you zero your reticle, your laser is slaved. Nope, that's not what I was saying.
You want I should treat them like white folks?
No. That's not what I said.
Zeroed. There it is. Don't look at me like that, Graves. Goddamn, dude.
You was gonna let me pick out my own clothes?
Yeah, but of course.
Science. So anyways, you move the reticle, the laser moves with it. It's slaved. Graves.
Oh, Steven. Let's keep it funny.
So it's actually really rad, and it makes sense why these things are so fucking expensive and apparently hard to get. But here we are. My shit's already zeroed. I'm going to shoot another group, and I'm not even going to fuck with the laser because we're going to use the laser on something else. And if you were guessing, I'll show you. I think that's zeroed. I could shoot some animals with that. That'd be fun. It's the feds. They're looking for me. Shoot you first? Graves, get off of there. This is the perfect example of what would happen in real world application. So I'm 20, 30 meters. I'm shooting supers. And I want to shoot that trash over there. But now, I want to shoot this other stuff, which is closer, so I switch it. And now my drop has changed. And we're going to engage this stuff that's right in front of us. Actual real world application. You just saw it firsthand. Trash further, supersonic, switch over to subsonic to engage with the water. Ah! Ooh! Nope. Bad time. Don't do that. God damn. This one has That's way hotter. I have feeling in this hand, not in this hand.